everybody. Welcome to another edition of Seize Your Business. I'm Jim Wozniak from Success Enhancement, and Kevin O'Flaherty, my co-host.
Hello.
From O'Flaherty Law. And today we have a very interesting guest, Mohammed Faheem. And Mohammed is a very interesting fellow who has done a lot of different things. He's owned 5 different businesses. He at one point was a news anchor in Houston, and is now focused on a company he called Center for Strategic Solutions. And the real mission of it is to get people back to work, create more jobs in the States. He has worked on reshoring programs, which is bringing items back into our country to manufacture. And has become, in this process, kind of a guru of knowing about government programs that can actually help companies. Often we hear the worst thing that can happen is somebody walks in your door and says, "Hey, I'm from the government, I'm here to help." And we joke about that, and there certainly are enough things government does to get in the way of small business owners. But there are some things that the government actually can do to help. So, Mohammed, why don't you maybe just give us, what drove you into this work, and then we'll
okay, thank you.
throw some questions around.
Both,
Pleasure.
Kevin
Thanks for having us.
and
Thanks for being here.
Yep.
for bringing me on here. What brought me to this? Long story short, it was purely by accident. What got me into business was by accident.
Mm-hmm.
I was working with Fisher Scientific for their Allied Signals, the Fisher Scientific division. 3 years out of college, worked for them in the Middle East. Came back to the country, got married. My wife didn't want to go back to Saudi Arabia, so we stayed over here. And first year in Chicago, had a head-on collision with an 18-wheeler.
Ouch.
So you talk about getting a kick in the behind.
Yeah.
I was basically paralyzed almost. I couldn't walk for 2 years after that.
Oh my God.
And that is what took me to Houston. And I tell people most of the time, guys, that was the best thing that could have happened.
Mm-hmm.
Because that got me on the path that I'm on now. And that got all those businesses, quote unquote, started.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So moved to Houston to get into rehab, warm climate and everything. My uncle was there. He got me into a small clinical practice. A couple of weeks into that, I'm lying around and I see a lot of empty spaces. So the doctors are coming around checking up on me, and I casually said, "Hey doc, who does your marketing for you?"
Mm-hmm.
And they said, "No, we don't have any person who does marketing. What do you know about marketing?" Well, I got a little background in marketing. We started chatting.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, "Man, while you're undergoing treatment with us, do you mind helping us out with some marketing?"
Mm-hmm.
That's how I got my first business started. I had absolutely no idea. I like to tell people this, that there are so many opportunities, especially I was here as an immigrant. Okay, not too many connections and stuff. Okay, I didn't grow up in this country. So they called their accountant over, and he said, "How much money do you have in your pocket?" I said, "I got $20."
Mm-hmm.
Said, "Can you give me 5?" I said, "Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you want to do with it." He said, "Well, I'm going to go down to Harris County, and I'm going to get you some papers for a DBA."
Mm.
I'm like, "What is a DBA?"
Mm-hmm.
"Well, we can't write a check to you as an individual. You got to have a company in order for us
Okay.
to hire you as a contract employee." Okay, contract. So we went and got the papers, and those
$5, huh?
$5.
A little more expensive in,
Yeah.
especially Cook County.
Well, he wasn't using O'Flaherty Law either.
The point that I try to make to people is sometimes you are always thinking of doing things, and sometimes God has a way of making you do things, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got to jump in, especially as a new business. So we started this business called American Business Consultants, because the accountant said, "You got to have a company that starts with A. Give me some choices."
Okay.
Those were the days of the yellow pages.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Probably before you were born. I mean, we're talking
Right.
about-
They used to sit on them to eat breakfast. They put them on the chair.
Yeah, you're on the chair. So that's how American Business Consultants got started. And took me a couple of years, started walking around and been being still back hurt for like 20 years after the accident. So just got better. That led to a couple of other businesses. It was the recession in Houston in those days. The government had formed an organization called the Resolution Trust Corporation. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that or not.
No, not really.
And they were liquidating properties.
Okay.
So I managed to get my hands on a couple of buildings, which like 8 units in each one of them. Got them pretty cheap. They had to be rehabbed. And while I was rehabbing that, I said, I think I can do these myself. Okay. So I became the general contractor and launched a company called Golden Road Construction Company.
Okay.
Now that is happening. American Business Consultants is going on. I'm giving you some background so you can understand the depth of.
It's interesting.
And then there is a National Association of the Remodeling Industry. It's called as NARI. It is here in the Chicagoland area also. I became a member of that. And one day I casually said, guys, we need to have a radio program to promote our services. And my master's is communications and journalism. I also have a master's in psychology that I try to use sometimes to impress people. They said, you got the background, you start it. So we started a 1-hour show on Saturdays. On stage. I was getting free publicity.
Right.
So I was hosting it. That kind of developed into 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, Saturday, 4 hours on Sunday. We were covering all kinds of topics. From getting attorneys on, to doctors on, to business people. Basically, just blasting away at how to succeed in life.
Okay. Wow.
Then Salem Communications came to hear about that, and they offered me an opportunity to launch the International News Hour as the producer and the anchor in the Houston market.
Okay.
So that's where the news anchoring part came in.
Okay.
So now I'm working 24/7.
Yeah.
A friend comes in and says, have you heard about the internet? I go, inter what? Well, there's the new thing coming in. And he said, you have the marketing smarts, I know computers, let's come together and start something. So we started a company called Web Houston International. And we built it up into a powerhouse in the Houston market. At one time, Time Warner Communications and Houston Post were our clients.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we got them on the
Very nice. Yeah.
on the internet. Eventually, I sold all of that and moved to Chicago. 2001. I was 46, 47, and my goal was to retire when I was 46. My wife's family is here, and they were having major health issues. Mother-in-law had cancer, father-in-law had strokes. So it was an ultimatum. My wife said either we move or I move.
Yeah.
He listened after a few years.
Of course. Yeah. Right.
So the boss made the decision, we moved over here. In a couple of years, I did nothing, traveled, had fun. But again, God has ways of pointing you in directions. I had cataracts in both eyes. I could not even see now. I had like 10% vision left in one eye. One eye was totally blind. And showed it to a doctor. She said, you, mister, you're not going to drive. You're not going to do anything. You're going to sit at home till you get the surgery done. I'm always hyper.
Yeah.
Typical Aries personality. I'm bouncing off the walls now. And again, opportunities come. So my son, who is now an attorney, he was going to Harper College. And in the evenings, he was working at Marshall Fields, selling women's shoes. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, not the first guest that's happened.
Yeah, it's happening. Yeah.
No, this is my 4:30 alarm.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, my son comes home one day and says, Dad, please do me a favor. Get out of the house, do something. Like, man, what do you want me to do? Well, why don't you come to Marshall Fields? I'm like, yeah, but I can't do anything. I cannot be a consultant. I cannot be on the computers. No, we're not talking of those things, Dad. Why don't you come and work on the floor of Marshall Fields? Like, are you nuts? I had my own fan club in Houston. People would wait for autographs.
Yeah. Wow.
He's like, well, that was Houston. No one knows you over here.
Right.
Okay, you're just another little Indian walking around the roads now. Tried my best not to do the job.
Mm-hmm.
I went and I was not shaven. I had, Indian spices coming out of my clothes.
Mm-hmm.
I did not want that job.
Mm-hmm.
They called me up after I filled out the application downstairs. Said, when can you start? $8.15 per hour.
Mm-hmm.
This was the Marshall Fields in Woodfield Mall.
Okay.
We lived in Hoffman Estates then. Man, first 2 weeks now, my son is taking me to work. He had scheduled us to where we could drive together.
Sure, yeah.
2 or 3 days in the evening. I was so afraid that someone would recognize me.
Oh.
So I went up to the manager and I said, what do you want me to do? Well, you're going to work in the men's clothing section. So, okay. Can I go and clean out the stalls and just, fold the clothes? I don't want to be at the register where people will come and see me.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks went by like that, guys. And I'm like, no one is really noticing who the heck I am. So what should I care?
Right.
I started getting on the front register.
Mm-hmm.
That was the best job I have had in my life.
Really?
Honestly, I enjoyed it so much. First off, I made a killer wardrobe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Because then you made all the sales. Right?
Sure, yeah.
So a couple of months into it, they promoted me into commission sales.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I still hold the record of opening the most new accounts of any associate in Marshall Field, 640 accounts in the 8 months that I was there.
Wow. That's unbelievable.
Okay. Loved it. So now one day I'm standing over there and I'm totally comfortable on the floor. Mm-hmm. I own it.
Yeah.
Friend of mine walks in, looks at me and goes, Mohammed, is that you?
So it finally did happen.
I've been looking for this guy since I moved from Houston. His name is Paul Cotillo.
Okay.
Paul used to be with the Schaumburg Police Department.
Yep.
And he was the first social worker hired by a police department.
Okay.
So Paul had retired, and he walks in with his wife, Shelby, gives me a big bear hug, big guy. He says, man, so you finally lost everything in life? You're working in Marshall Field. I'm like, no, Paul, I'm enjoying this. Till I get my eye surgery done. And I'm not allowed to drive, so, I'm passing the time. I'm having fun, meeting people. I said, what are you doing tomorrow? I said, tomorrow? I don't have anything on my schedule. I don't have a schedule anymore. So I said, I'm going to come home and pick you up and take you with me. So Paul comes home now, picks me up, and he drives us to the unemployment office.
Mm-hmm.
He had another gentleman with him that Paul was helping to file his claim. And we walk in and we see all these resources there for employers, for job seekers. And my ears pricked up. I'm like, how come no one has told anyone about this?
Mm-hmm.
Ask the secretary, who's the manager of this place? So she points us to a room. There's the manager. We go and we knock on the door and we go, hey, I'm Mohammed, this is Paul. How come you got all this? No one knows about these resources. Who does your marketing for you? Mm-hmm. My favorite question.
Yeah.
And he says, well, this is a state agency. We don't have a marketing department. So now Paul and I are driving back, and Paul switches the radio on, and it goes to 560 WIND.
Mm-hmm.
They had just changed formats from Spanish music to English talk.
Mm-hmm.
And they were saying, we would love to have some new programs, and we are in Arlington Heights. I said, Paul, swing around, let's go talk to these guys. Paul said, yeah, Mohammed, with your background in radio and everything, why don't you launch a radio show to talk about these resources? Sound like a good idea.
And we may need to get the short version of your meeting
Yes.
right to the top. So we haven't hit our topic
We
yet.
haven't got to our topic. That's all right.
To make a long story short, we ended up launching a TV show because radio was too expensive for us. And we went on cable television to launch a show called The Employment Hour.
Okay.
If you Google it, some of the old shows out there, we didn't know what we were doing. Absolutely no idea. But we brought in employers, We brought in people who have succeeded against odds. We brought in job seekers. We brought in resources and started talking about what is out there. A couple of weeks later, after 3 months in the show, I get a call saying, we'd like you to join our team at the state office over there. That is how I ended up in that office. Tried my best not to get the job.
Yeah, that's...
Got it. So your advice is try not to get the job. And things work out.
Well,
But to Kevin's point about getting on topic, so that's great. And what are some of the things employers should be looking at in terms of where they can get
First off,
help in one form or another from the government?
First off, let me put it this way: the government is not some aliens coming in from outer space. The government is you and me. We make the government. Okay. The resources are phenomenal that the government has. Unfortunately, they suck at marketing. They feel that okay, we got the programs. People will come to us. There's absolutely no awareness. All these government servants that are out there who are supposed to be people servants, they are there for their paycheck. They couldn't care less to make a difference.
Right.
I started noticing that, and so much out there that our tax dollars have paid for that is either being misused or not used at all. So especially now, from the business point of view, you have two things. You want to grow your business, and in order to grow your business, you need to have the right people to work there. I mean, I like to tell people in the job seeker side, I tell them, what is a business? It is not the investors. It is not the management. It is the people who make a profit for their business that make a business run. So you got to have the productive employees, right? Without the employees, you don't have a business. Okay. With things constantly changing, technology is changing, you have to keep your crew trained on what is happening, what is coming down the pike. Through the programs these are some federal programs, and there may be some state programs also. Okay, I'm going to focus on a couple of programs today for this purpose of this discussion. And if people want more information, they can always call us. They can always contact us, and we'll be happy to
give your information out later.
Later on. That's fine. We'll be happy to assist as needed. There's the program called the WIOA program, Workforce Investment Opportunities Act. It used to be the Workforce Investment Act, WIA, about a couple of years back. Then some smart person said, we need to justify our existence in this system, so we're going to rename it. Basically the same program, with a couple of new bells and whistles.
Right.
Okay. So the WIOA program has got two sides to it. One is focused on the job seeker, and the other is focused on the employer. So the job seekers now who have been laid off, collecting unemployment, or facing some other barriers to employment, like low family income and all that, or youth trying to come into the job market, there are different grants available. These are called as the 1D grant. It is for dislocated workers. 1A is for adults with, barriers to employment, family income, all kinds of stuff. And 1Y is for youth. Once people go through that grant, we started noticing that employers were telling us, my job was to make sure that employers got productive employees. And these people who are getting the training, at the end of the day, the state would come back and ask us, how many people got training, how many people got a job as a result of their training? If you don't have a job, then that whole money is wasted, right? So we started noticing that employers were coming to us and they'll say, yeah, fine, he got a piece of paper, she got a piece of paper. They don't have any work experience, sorry, you can't hire them. We are not going to babysit them. So we kind of made a few suggestions, and there was a grant that, a long time back, there was a grant for on-the-job training that for some reason or the other was taken off the table. That was brought back about 3 years back now, 3-4 years back, that has been brought back to where an employer now can get a grant up to $10,000 in the Cook County area. Now these grants are driven by counties also. So Cook County has a slightly different program. Will County will have a different program. DuPage County will have a different program. But as an employer, all you got to do is to find out where your workforce or WorkNet center is. reach out to them, and they would be happy to assist you.
Mm-hmm.
So when you say workforce centers, would that be Googling DuPage County Workforce Center? Or
Absolutely. DuPage County Worknet.
Worknet.
The statewide branding now is Worknet.
Worknet?
Yeah, I mean, they went through multiple brandings at one time, the IETC, Illinois Employment and Training Center, the One Stop Center. Now, it kind of happened during Governor Blago's, governorship, that the entire workforce system was Worknet. It is branded as Worknet.
Okay.
So you could just call them up and basically say, I'm an employer, I'm looking to find out what grants are available. Is that the best route to bring these to your attention, or should they start with you? Is that...
We'd be happy to help. We'd be happy to help because it's kind of difficult. Like if you call the Arlington Heights Unemployment Office, for example, it's called as the One Stop Center because it is a partnership of 8 agencies over there. We have the workforce, the Worknet Center there, which is run by Business and Career Services. Then IDES is there, Illinois Department of Employment Security. The DHS, DRS, all of those, Harper College, CETA, all of those organizations. There's about 8 different organizations that make up the Worknet Center in Arlington Heights. Skokie has a different, service provider. National Able is doing the service providing over there. So you got in Cook County, you have about 48 different service providers now under the Worknet brand in one county. DuPage County, the Worknet office is in Lyle.
Okay.
So I would be happy to connect any of the viewers, any of the listeners with the right resources.
So when you're thinking about these grants, it's basically if you hire the right type of person in conjunction with applying for one of these grants, you might be able to get some money back.
Absolutely.
So if I hire somebody that needs on-the-job training and I'm willing to provide it, I might be able to get $10,000.
Absolutely. Now there are a few wrinkles to this. You cannot fire someone and hire someone in their place.
Okay.
Okay, I mean that's the most important thing. You can't let someone go and bring in someone under this program.
And I assume you have to keep the person you're hiring employed for a certain amount of time.
Not necessarily. If they don't work out, they don't work out. There's no force. But it could be in your best interest to work with them. And normally, in Cook County, the way the program is being run, for the first 6 months, the grant would pick up to 50% of the person's salary, to a maximum of $10,000. Okay, that's a huge chunk of money.
Yeah.
So that's what incentivizes you to keep them on.
Absolutely. Okay, so you do the preliminary interviews and all that. See that they have what it takes to be a good team member. Then you take it from there.
Is there a ton of paperwork? I mean, I
Hardly any.
Really?
Honestly, the paperwork is so minimal. It used to be an application this thick. We winnowed it down to where it's maybe like a 2 or 3 page application.
Do you submit it before the hire has happened or after the hire has happened?
Before the hire.
Okay, and
It
so
is
you get the
very
approval
important.
before you do the
Correct.
hire.
It is very important that you get the approval before hiring someone. Now, normally you approach the Worknet Center and you say, hey, I got this job. Have you got a client with the required training or the skills?
Oh, so they'll even put you in touch with the...
Absolutely. Because a lot of people who are collecting unemployment are coming to these centers and they are getting the grants, they're getting trained. Or if an employer you have interviewed someone and you found someone through XYZ sources, you can call these centers up and say, I'm planning on hiring, Kevin, here is his background. Do you think he would qualify for the grant? So that is called as a reverse referral.
So this, sounds almost too good to be true because you pay a staffing agency to find people for you, and you're paying 50% of their salary to the staffing agency.
Yep.
So you can go to Worknet, they'll find you somebody, and they'll pay for part of their salary if they.
Unimaginable. That's what I'm saying, guys. I was like,
they do have terrible marketing because I haven't.
How come people don't know about this? Okay, we don't have a marketing budget. Okay.
Yeah.
But that has become a passion of mine, is to take this information to where, I've seen grown-ups come and sit down and cry that I'm at the bottom of my rope. I've been unemployed for so long, I'm not finding a job. And then there's this huge disconnect out in the market, but there's a skills shortage. There was an article recently, CNN Money, Patrick Gillespie had an article in the May issue of CNN Money, that there are 5.83 million job openings. But employers are not finding the people with the right skills.
Yes,
For employer, we always hear there's, no one can find a job, and then we can't find employees, when we're
There you
trying
go.
to hire.
Okay. So the program that we have developed with the Center for Strategic Solutions, again, is to bridge that gap. Job search itself is a skill that needs to be relearned. No one is teaching that. No school is teaching that. I'm sorry, no career center is teaching that. No church is teaching that. No workforce department is teaching that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they are all following, what color is my parachute? Who the heck cares?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What
What I care about is the parachute functioning or not when I jump out of the plane.
yeah.
Right?
Right.
But there's that one program for employers. Flipping back a little bit, if you hire a veteran, do you know how much tax credits you can get for hiring a veteran?
No?
Between state and federal programs, about $17,500. The numbers may change a little bit, but I'm talking of, current knowledge that I have at this point.
And this is something that you do through WorkNet too, or is this a different program?
You would go through the Department of Employment Security, Department of Labor for those things. There is a program called as the WOTC, what's the program? Work Opportunity Tax Credit. Heard about that?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
And to me,
And partly because I haven't been in a position of marrying
No, but it's
people,
not just you.
Right.
I mean,
But I'm sure a lot of people
talked
haven't.
with hundreds of employers. In my database, I started a lot of crazy stuff with WorkNet, and they allowed me to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I started, for example, the first email newsletter program. They didn't even have that.
Mm-hmm.
I completely redesigned their website. If you look at the WorkNet NCC, the Cook County website, I was the guy who redesigned it, because with my web background, we won an award for the best website redesign in Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
The Golden something award from the Publicity Club of Chicago. Bottom line is this. So you have the Work Opportunity Credit Tax that people don't know about. Up to $17,500.
this is, well, I've hired a lot of people, and this is never on my radar, and but you as a resource, people can call you and say, I'm looking to hire this type of position. Where should I go? Who do I need to be put in touch with? And you can kind of facilitate that?
We would be happy to facilitate. I started this whole thing in April of this year. I had about 30 people come in for the first round of interviews to join the team. This was in Schaumburg Library. We had an info session day.
Mm-hmm.
Said, how many of you want to make money? And all hands went up. Okay, there's the door, walk out.
Mm-hmm.
How many of you want to make money while making a difference in people's lives?
Mm-hmm.
And out of the 30, we have taken 12 people on, and they are undergoing some training at this point, how to present our programs to job seekers and employers. So, team is building up. We'll be happy to help any employer anywhere. We can do it virtually. We can do it physically. We can go and talk to them.
Okay. Well, you know what? This is a fascinating discussion. But in trying to keep within somewhat close to our time frame.
Cut off the first half an hour, all that background thing, cut it off.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have the editing capabilities. But it was it was an interesting story.
It was very interesting.
I didn't interrupt you. I just wanted to.
You know what I think? I think that a lot of times, people who come here from other countries, they see the opportunities that the natives don't, because they're used to. Being too comfortable.
I was in a conference meeting just the other day. I said the first generation makes the money, earns the money. The second generation has no idea how much, and the third generation burns the money.
Yeah, right, right.
So, but there's another program that I want to bring to the table. The State Treasurer's Office. They got money for businesses to expand and grow.
Did not know that either.
And that has nothing to do with the state's budget. There's a separate line item for that. Okay? So you can go and talk to them. They can come in and they can guarantee the loan that you'll be getting from the SBA. Mm-hmm. They can buy you a better rate of interest. And this is for business expansion, if you want to add capacity, amongst other things.
Is that something you guys facilitate too with
Absolutely.
the center? So how does the Center for Strategic Solutions? How do you guys get paid? If I call you up and need help with this, do you take a cut on the salary of the person I hire, or how does that work?
That is something that is under review at this point, because we are not a staffing agency, and even after I left WorkNet, my relationship is very strong. In fact, they let me go on one condition, that I should still have my office over there. So I'm keeping the office that I had, in the beginning. And I was talking with my former boss about it. I said, if it is a free government program, and you point people in that direction, ethically, if you make money off of it, it will not be ethical. So I said, how would you advise me to do that? I said, well, people can hire you, and they can put you on a retainer. So you're not getting a percentage of what you get, but we can definitely, guide you, and you get the grant, up to you. You don't get the grant, please be pointed to in the right place. You don't want a percentage of the grant, because that would be unethical. Okay.
Right.
But there are so many other programs. I just mentioned a couple to you. There is another program through the federal grants program, which is geared towards layoff avoidance. So if you have a bunch of employees and you are upgrading your systems, for example, and these employees don't have the skills for those systems that you're bringing in, instead of laying them off and hiring new people, you can partner with the government to provide training to your existing workforce.
Like retraining, more or less.
Retraining.
Yeah.
Okay. The state picks up 50% of the cost. So there are training programs available, there are trainers available. You decide what program that you want to, let's say you're upgrading your software system, right? You decide which program you're going with. We can find you the trainer. We can connect you with this incumbent worker training program, that's what it's called as. Your 50% contribution would be the salary that you're paying to the employer, to the employees, the space that you're providing for the training. You don't have to even put cash from your pocket.
So, in conclusion, Mohammed, if people did want to talk to you, if they have questions, what's the best way for them to reach you?
Email is the best way.
And your email is?
CEO@cfss.us, the Center for Strategic Solutions. .us.
Beautiful.
All right. Jim, how can people reach you?
Best is just a phone call, 630-272-3895.
And if you want to schedule a free consultation, you can call Flaherty Law at 630-324-6666 and check out more videos and audio at seizeyourbusiness.com. We've done I think we're at about 80 episodes now, so we've got a lot of good content there, so please check us out, seizeyourbusiness.com.
And if you think of somebody who you think you would like to see interviewed on our program, or if you yourself would like to, please give one of us a call, and we can make that happen as well. Thank you very much.
Thanks for listening.
Mohammed, thank you.